What is up, guys? Joker here. I wanted to go ahead and make a video for you today on the Balanced Manifesto that came out from GGG, where they went ahead and kind of kicked you in the balls. They hit a lot of stuff really hard, and it's kind of saddening, but oh well. It's really going to make this league interesting, and how the meta forms because they hit pretty much all of the top skills. So it's kind of going to be interesting on what we try to figure out to do. So going over it in a very TLDR way, very high level, is pretty much low life, low mana, low energy shield are all now 50% instead of 30%. And then it's making changes to the Assassin's class, Infernal Mantle, and Replica Last Resort. So it's pretty much saying, hey, we're nerfing these. Blood Magic got split into 2 jewels, which is good because now people will use the 2 jewels that Blood Magic got split into. They're adding some clusters onto the tree to support physical damage over time and damage over time multiplier for bleeding. So they're trying to support the bleeding skills. And then they are nerfing it a little bit, though. They're nerfing it with the fact that they're taking away elder mods, right? If we jump down, this is pretty much just saying that they're changing corrupted blood to kind of read as bleeding, make them work in like a similar fashion, but not really similar. You can read those 2 paragraphs if you care that much, but that's pretty much TLDR. Is it's making sure that everything that said bleeding previously now kind of accounts for corrupted blood as well. But like I was saying, if we jump down here, Elder weapons now roll local poison or bleed damage over time multiplier modifier. Now, this is the nerf I was referencing because this is getting rid of the 100% more damage mod from them. So, unless this is something significant, this is going to hit bleed and poison builds pretty hard. I mean, I jumped over Bladestorm has a multiplier for bleeding, but no one cares about that. No one ever played a Bladestorm. So, but yeah. So I was jumping to, the relevant thing where they're pretty much nerfing bleeding and poison. So an entire category of damage, well, 2 entire categories of damage, which is interesting. I mean, maybe when we get numbers on what this modifier is, like if it's a decent enough damage over time multiplier, it'll make up, but it's going to be less than the double damage. It says it right there. So, I mean, that's that. On top of that, this is going into the fact that they're pretty much gutting Chainbreaker. I made a video about, oh yeah, Chainbreaker is so good, and it got destroyed. Chainbreaker is probably not going to be used anymore, so that's depressing. And see an entire keystone just get phased out. This doesn't really make sense because it's saying that auras aren't going to default reserve mana, but they're going to be on. But when your mana is depleted, it doesn't really make sense. At least not to me. Oh, and then this is the real reason, right? If we get to it, everyone remember the Indigon Miner that was, doing all the bossing that everyone made? The Indigen Miner, whatever you want to call it, Indigen. Because of this, mine skills now have both the mana cost and mana reservation. So Indigen no longer provides spell damage without affecting mine costs at all. So this and this, as well as some other changes, some other nerfs, it seems like they were targeted specifically against this Indigon Miner, right? Because they're hitting direct parts of that. Like, they wanted to nerf that build significantly because they're hitting pretty much mines, they're hitting Divergent Berserk, they're hitting Chainbreaker. So, like, they're really wanting to go all out and trying to gut that. I mean, if we go here, essentially what they're saying is they're getting rid of the highs and trying to up the lows a little bit is pretty much what it sounds like. So anything that was good as an Atlas passive last league is going to probably be significantly gutted because that's how GGG does it. So the good passives on the Atlas tree last league are most likely not going to be good this league. So I mean, we get to look forward into re-rolling our entire Atlas tree to try to find good passives now. So that's cool. Um, this is pretty much just a rework, not a rework, but a pretty much rebalance for Vol skills, making a little bit of adjustments to all of them, which it's I don't care about because Vol skills were always a one off. I don't know why you're putting so much focus on them. Like you use it when it's up. Very specific builds would like use what Soul Ripper and make sure you had 100% uptime on some Vol skills, but still those were like niche. And then with this, this is the probably most controversial part that I saw, and it's kind of funny because if you look at what they name dropped, it's like they targeted what they saw streamers or content creators playing or making, right? Because Blade Vortex, Blade Blast. So this is going to hit Fire BV, Cold BV, Self Curse, uh, Self Poison. Oh, that's something else that they get rid of. Self Poison. So pretty much majority of the BV builds are gone. Blade Blast is getting hit, so Blade Blast, Blade Fall is gone. Toxic Rain, so TR is gone. That's going to be pretty much in every form. General's Cry with Channel Skill. I feel like that's something targeting Badger directly. I believe it was Badger, right? With his General's Cry. He's the one I saw with like a General's Cry Cyclone build. And then Seismic Cry, Carry On Golem for Ethan, Gamer Report. And then Vitality for any person who played hardcore. uh, and then they're nerfing Frostbomb and Wave of Conviction, and they're gutting Flesh and Stone, and then they're kind of gutting Vigilant Strike as well as Divergent Berserk. So pretty much they took away 75% of the power from Divergent Berserk's quality. They added 10% mana reservation on Flesh and Stone, which no one's going to use it now. And then they give less exposure for for Frostbomb and Wave of Conviction. So that's why I was saying it's kind of nerfing a large amount of builds, right? Because you're pretty much gonna try to get rid of anything that uses Blade Vortex. So, like I said, Self Poison, Self Curse, Cold, Fire, Physical, Lightning, any type of BV build, right? And then Fall, Blade Blast. So, once again, the crit one, the poison one, Toxic Rain Minor, Self Cast. So, they really wanted to go ahead and hit a lot of builds. And I don't know if it was because of the diversity, but they really, really wanted to hit a lot of top tier skills. Here, let me actually pull up a window real quick. All right, I just wanted to go ahead and pull up Po Ninja right now just to show how many this is hitting, right? So essentially this 31%, this 8%, right? So 31, 38%, and then it's going to be 42, 46, probably about 50% of the build, right? So 50% of the most played builds in the Ritual League is getting nerfed. So maybe that's why they did it, but yeah, That one really hurts. And then on top of that, the fact that they're getting rid of Flesh and Stone and Vigilant Strike, like, why are you just going to get rid of two really good layers of defense people had for no reason? You're making the content stronger. You can at least let us try to survive. The Divergent Berserk, I mean, I never used it, but I saw it was pretty strong, so I guess I can understand that nerf. Going on to the next thing. Oh, and this is what made me say Self Curse is dead. Oh, and Fire. Quivers and bows are really no longer working for spells. So, let's see. And Signal Fire right there. So they're nerfing they're making pretty much Fire BB unplayable. Um, so that, I mean, that kind of sucks. On top of that, oh yeah, they completely destroyed Exploding Chest. So now we're no longer going to have fun explosions. That's awesome. Harvest Life. The only thing that stuck out to me here is Specters. So I know there was a lot of Specters that were strong from Harvest, and it points out Corpse Explosion as well. So I'm assuming that's nerfing at least 3 or 4 different types of builds just by hitting their health, because on minions you kind of need your minions to be able to survive. Hexproof with the Cosprey's will no longer target you because you're not your own enemy. They don't know that. I'm my own enemy. Oh, and then this is where I was saying they're getting rid of self-poison. They said they like the concept, but they're nerfing it extremely hard and putting it on a unique item. So no one's ever going to use that, by the way. Just gotta throw that out there that no one's going to really waste a spot for a unique item if it's nerfed significantly, because that they capped it at a specific value. That means that this unique is going to be dead, and they just wanted to kill self-poison. That's what these lines mean, is they wanted to kill self-poison. Oh, item splitting is completely gone. So map splitting and base splitting is completely gone. So that means that items are going to be significantly rare, because it reads it like they're similar to mirrored items. Now, it says similar to, so these items can still be mirrored, but that means there's going to be 1 or 2 of the good item that you can get out of a base. So 6 link white socket items are going to be completely gone, pretty much, or gated behind a lot of currency. They're killing our ability to sustain Atlas missions for some reason, unless we put points into it, which people aren't going to do that. Oh, they're killing Delirium. And then on the also negative side, they're hitting cluster jewels that apply AoE, skill effect restriction, aura effect, or projectile speed. So for most niche projectile skills, this is dead. They definitely don't want aura stackers being a thing. Skill effect duration and area of effect. So I don't know why they felt the need to nerf that, but okay. Let me see, what else was I seeing in here that made sense? Oh, they're nerfing. That's why I had the Soul Tether pulled up, is because they're nerfing it. With it, they're nerfing the Immortal Ambition, which nerfs the Soul Tether and the Glorious Vanity Jewel. And then they're also nerfing Corrupted Soul. So they're taking away a lot of defenses in life to be dicks, I guess. Because if you look here too, Ardent Scars no longer gives Fortify during the effect, but only when you're gaining life. Most people have an instant life flask, so they're not going to have Fortify. And then Necromancer nerf and Primal Aegis nerf. Oh, and then this is the chain breaker nerf that I was mentioning right here, where instead of the 5 rage when you hit an enemy, now has skills cost plus 3 rage. So that's destroying Chainbreaker, because now there's like no reason to have Chainbreaker, because that's way too high to try to balance keeping it up. Having it compared to on hit, it's 3 per cast. So, that's pretty bad. So all in all, GGG wanted to go ahead and kick us in the balls like twice and then teabag us. All right. Well, I just wanted to go ahead and give that high level concept of what the balance notes pretty much say. I mean, feel free to disagree in the comments, or see how you view it, but honestly, it's pretty harsh that they hit so much stuff so hard, and so much fun stuff so hard, that it's going to be super interesting to see what this league looks like. I mean, I have no idea what half the builds are going to be, but especially since they nerfed Harvest, it kind of took away part of the build diversity with us being able to harvest craft. So let's really hope that the drop changes that they made really make up for this, because right now this looks pretty harsh. Like, this better be the best league ever, because between everything that's come out, it's harsh. All right. Well, until next time, take care.